Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest broadcast with myself and Mike Pursuta, your broadcast tandem for Colonials hockey, along with Derek Schooley, head coach of the RMU hockey program. Tim Benz and Mike Pursuta will be on the broadcast for you on Halloween night against Niagara. It's the first game at home in the regular season for the Colonials as Derek Schooley's team gets set to take the ice in Atlantic hockey play. Derek, after your team played Michigan and Notre Dame to start the year on the road, take us through the first couple weekends and how you thought the Colonials did against the Wolverines and then against the Fighting Irish, which included a tie as it stands in the standings, but a victory in the shootout in South Bend against the Fighting Irish, which I'm sure Mike and I won't mention at all during the broadcast.
Yeah, I thought we've played pretty well in spurts. I think we finally put a full 60 minutes together in game 2 against Notre Dame, and I think that's really neat to see heading into our Atlantic hockey play opening up against Niagara. But I think one of the things that you got to look at is the quality of the opponent. When these games were scheduled 2-3 years ago, you didn't really understand that where hockey was going to go with the opening of major junior and revenue sharing, NIL, all that kind of stuff, and how the landscape's going to change and payrolls and all that kind of stuff. And we had Michigan 2-2 with 10 minutes to go in the third period, and they went off to win their first 7 in a row. They beat the defending national champions 1 week after they beat us 4-2. They beat them 4-0 the same a week later. They eventually lost the next night to Western, and we struggled that game. We were actually 3-2 halfway through the game the second night, and the game just got away from us at Michigan on the second night. And then we go to Notre Dame, and we had a pretty good game, and we're once again 2-2. We take a 2-0 lead, 2-2 after one, 3-2 going in the third. They make it 4-2, and we get it to 5-3, give up an empty net goal, and ends up 6-3, and really just happy with all of our efforts, but happy that we're not putting 60 minutes together, and challenge our team on Saturday in South Bend to play 60 minutes. And we held Notre Dame without a shot for 19 minutes and 57 seconds throughout the game, from the middle of the first period to the middle of the second period. And I don't even remember it going against anybody ever in the history of our program a full period without giving up a shot, let alone the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. And it just shows our compete level defending, our compete level in the neutral zone, our compete level on our forecheck. And we outchanced them, we outshot them. We did everything that game but outscore them. We had to come back from a lead. The couple things that have been concerning is right now we are -2 against Michigan 5-on-5, and minus against Michigan Notre Dame we're -2 5-on-5, but 4-on-4 we're -4. 3-on-3 we gave up 5 more shots to Notre Dame. Their power play against our power play has been much better. So we need to fix all situations that aren't 5-on-5 right now.
Derek, I'm curious. You obviously have a purpose in mind when you schedule these games, even though you do them well in advance. Michigan is a program that some people would say is highly regarded. Notre Dame's a Big Ten team. What does your group get out of starting a season, going on the road, spending some time away from the rink? In terms of team development, how does this jumpstart you?
Well, I think it shows where you are and where you stand on a national level, because I think at the end of the day, Michigan's going to be a team that challenges for the Big Ten championship. They're going to be a team that's in the conversation for a potential national championship down the line. I know you don't want to hear that, being from a Michigan State guy, that where anybody who's listened to you for 5 minutes in their life knows that you're anti-Michigan, and you could just tell with your question there. But that being said, they're a team.
The way I said, some people might say they're highly regarded, but
yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think that's the one thing that we get out of it. It sees where we are on the national level, because our ultimate goal is to win Atlantic hockey. Our ultimate goal is to play a Michigan in the NCAA tournament, and to be able to see where we stand and to be able to stand on that level and to show very well. I think we showed, like I said, with 10 minutes left in the third period, we're tied. And the fourth goal is an empty net goal is a pretty good showing for a program that's out of the gates. And going into that series, they had outscored everybody. And I think before our show, they had outscored everybody 26-3. And they hadn't given up more than one goal in a game. And they did it twice, two times against us. The next game against Western, they gave up 0. So I think those are the things that we've got to look at as positives. And then to go on the road and play Notre Dame, who had just swept St. Lawrence really bad. They had outscored them 11-2. And to go in there and have once again a 2-0 lead on them, and to be able to take them to the wire in that game with the goalie pulled in game 1, and then to have to go to overtime and eventually win in the shootout, tie, but win the shootout is really neat for our guys to get some success out of that 4-game Big Ten road swing.
Yeah, I saw you guys were pouring over the boards to mob your goaltender after the tie. And the Notre Dame guy who did not break the tie was slamming his stick into the glass. It certainly was accepted as a win, if not recorded as such for posterity.
Yeah, you got to remind your guys afterwards. I think you remind your guys, you celebrate the win, but if you lose that, you remind everybody it's just a tie.
Yeah, you're selective. You're selective in your messaging in that regard. You mentioned the long stretch without a shot. I wanted to follow that up. First of all, where did you guys excel in making that happen? Was it primarily the forecheck puck possession in the offensive end, or was it something else? And then the second question, when shots eventually did get throughout the course of these 4 games, what did you think of your goaltending?
Yeah, I think we've really wanted to put an emphasis on defending much harder and being different in the neutral zone. And when I say different, we've tried to run a different style than we've run the last 2 years, and be a little bit more not less structured, but different in our structure, to where we're not as regimented in our positioning. And with that, it was always the left wings here, the right wings here, and the centers here. Now it doesn't matter who's where. So there's a little less thinking involved, and you can go be a little bit more. If you're the left wing and you're up at the far blue line, you don't have to go, I got to go all the way back to the other blue line. So we've kind of went that way, and I think that's really helped us. And I think we defended really hard, and those are some things that we've got to get our team into the mindset. We've got to check really hard. We've got to be able to check, and our back checking was really good the second game, and our reloads, and you got to be able to play 200 feet in the rink. And the one thing we have done is we have passed up too many shots. We outshot them 29-25, but it was 29-20 in regulation. And I still think we could have had about 5 or 6 more shots, but we were passing up too many shots and trying to be too cute in certain scenarios. So I think our checking has been so much better, and our defending has been so much better. Structurally has been really good with our team, and our goaltending, Charlie Schenkel's been really good. His numbers may not look it because of giving up 6 against Michigan and 5 against Notre Dame in the one game, but he's been outstanding, and he's made a save at 2-2 without a stick coming across the crease, and he's just been as advertised.
Derek, watching your team play in the early going here, it's occurred to me the first 2 years there were times when I'd watch the Colonials play and think, boy, it's going to be hard to get a goal, or the things are going to have to break just right to get the puck in the net, or it's going to have to come on the power play. And watching you guys in that second Notre Dame game, I thought every time you were in the attack zone, I thought you were dangerous. The tying goal, the nice play for Wilson retrieving the puck and then passing to Craig, who had a really bad angle, and he buried it. Do you feel like you're a more volatile team this year, a higher skill level that is going to be able to take advantage of even opportunities that don't necessarily scream this one's going in?
Well, minus the Waterloo game that they scored 10 seconds into the game. we've scored first in every game we've played, and we've led at Michigan both games, we led at Notre Dame both games, and those are things that you want to get off to a good start. You want teams to chase you down. So those are things that are really good. But we're deep. We've got having Jackson Reineke back has really made our lineup deeper. Adding Ryan Taylor, who had a goal at Michigan, is made our lineup deeper. And we're doing all this without some of our top guys producing offensively. Felsing scored our first goal of the year. Michael Felsing did, and hasn't scored since then. Tanner Klimke hasn't scored a goal, but has been dangerous. Cameron Garvey hasn't scored a goal, but it's been dangerous. Dario Belgio, who had 13 with AIC, he's had chances, but hasn't scored. We've got to get those guys going, and when we do, we're going to be really dangerous. And, we're scoring goals and getting goals against teams that are shutting out, like Michigan. We get 2 both nights, and then they go out and shut out the defending national champions the next week. And so I think, to answer your question, I think we do have a lot more offensive ability because of our experience, but we still got to get some guys going. And when we do, and it's not from lack of chances. It's just they haven't gone in for them. And once those guys, because they are going to score, they're going to be good players for us, and they're going to be high-level offensive players in this league. Once they do get going, you're going to see the floodgates open, and we're going to score even more.
Derek, as you start the conference play here this weekend against Saturday against Niagara, for folks who want to come out on Halloween, what do you make of them and how they've started their season? 3 straight wins at home against St. Lawrence and Bowling Green, and they dropped a couple in Schenectady against Union, but most recently beat the U.S. National Development Program 4-1. What do you make of this edition of the Purple Eagles?
Yeah, they're always going to be well coached, and Jason Lammers is very innovative in things he does. And it's hard to know teams right now because everybody has such a turnover, and they graduated a lot last year. And obviously, this is early in the week, and we're still trying to learn them because it's only Tuesday when we're recording this. But we've got some common opponents, and they beat Bowling Green by about the same score that we did. They swept St. Lawrence. Notre Dame swept St. Lawrence. We split with Notre Dame. So I think on paper, looks to be a very even series and a very challenging series for both teams. And what a way to open up Atlantic hockey play for both teams. And the development program's always very good. And the Purple Eagles always play very well at home. And you can see that their start at home has been outstanding. So that's going to be a challenge for us to go into that Dwyer Arena and play them on Saturday. But obviously, first things first, our home opener after tying and winning the shootout in South Bend, would love a great crowd to come out and see us play on Halloween, and come in your costumes, come dressed as your favorite broadcast team, come dressed as Herb Brooks, come dressed however you want, but come and cheer on the Colonials against the Purple Eagles on Friday.
Derek, Cam Garvey got the shootout goal for you in South Bend. Can you refresh our memory as to how you guys decide from night to night who's going to be the shooters?
Yeah, you know what? It's a lot of history of what they've done in shootouts, and we hadn't used Cam in 2 years, but Cam's done very well in our Thursday shootouts that we've had, and went back and looked at some of his junior hockey stuff, and because obviously we had some guys that graduated that were very good in shootouts, and our guys that aren't with the program anymore that were very good in shootouts previously. So we need to find some new guys, and watching our Thursday shootouts, Cam's won them twice, and went with him, and he scored the goal. We went with the freshman next, Luca Primorano, who's won our shootout twice. And then we didn't need to go to him, but Dominic Elliott, defenseman, has won a couple times as well. So we were going to go to Dom Elliott next. And you would think that some of our real high offensive players are unbelievable at shootouts, but they're not. And Tanner Klimke had a shootout goal earlier in one of our scrimmages. He would have been up there because he's worked on his shootouts in the summer, as he showed at some times. But we've kept track from day one of their college entrance to how people have done in shootouts and in their junior hockey career that we can find through Instat or Sport Logic or any of the websites out there that have them. And we've got a pretty detailed, at least what we could find, spreadsheet on people's percentages on shootouts.
Do you coach that at all? Because I noticed Garvey just kind of skated in and there wasn't a whole lot of stick handling and he just got to where he wanted to shoot and he let it rip 5-hole. You see some of these guys at all levels of hockey, they're trying to reinvent the wheel on these shootout breakaways. Do you guys have a protocol or do you just let them do what they want to do and see what works?
Well, see, that's the thing that I tell them every Thursday when we do this is that we watch who the winners are and we chart it. And you want to go in the games, win on Thursdays. It's just like practice. You got guys coming down and trying all this silly stuff and they don't score, but then then how am I supposed to trust using them? It's just like a practice. So you want to go in the shootouts besides scoring in games and getting an opportunity, then make sure you do it on Thursdays in practice, just like any other type of system within our team. Make sure you do it well in practice so it translates to games.
Derek, before we go here, last thing I got for you. Did you have any split attention issues with what was going on in Delaware, given that your two daughters were playing against each other? And how did you think that went?
They started at 6. We played at 7, so I got a chance to watch the first period in the coach's room. They had a really good coach's room set up at Notre Dame. We had it on a big screen. One of the Big Ten supervisor officials decided he wanted to come and talk to me during it. And I'm like, yeah, whatever you need, just let me know. And I go, I'm watching my two daughters play here. So he kind of got ushered out of there really quick. But so I watched the first period on Friday, and then I got to watch 2.5 periods on Saturday before the stream dropped. But I was really proud of both of them. They both played really well, and it was neat to see their pictures. NBC or Peacock did a really neat feature on them.
Yeah, they were giving updates in the game, actually. They were giving update. Did Caitlin initially get credit for a goal and then it got changed to an assist? Because they gave her credit for a goal.
Yeah, that happened on Friday. She ended up with 3 assists on the weekend and was +5. And Taylor was even for the weekend when you lose 10-0. And so I was proud of both of them. They did a good job. And Caitlin was I guess when this is announced, will be named Defenseman of the Week in Atlantic Hockey. So I'm really proud of her for her weekend. But Taylor did a good job, and I got in trouble from my son because Steve Conroy on the broadcast said he didn't even mention his son who had a game in the North American Hockey League. So Brendan, who's playing down in Oklahoma in the North American League, he's doing really well too. He's got 6 points in 8 games and just coming back from knee injury. So have to give him his props as well.
Yeah, Steve Conroy was raving about you guys after that Saturday game in particular, Derek. You guys, good weekend on Peacock for the Schooley family and for RMU. Do you take much from that when a guy in his position is as complimentary as he was, or do you just kind of figure that's his opinion and move on?
No, it was nice. We have it's 6 degrees of separation in hockey, and a guy that was his first captain, Mark Reeds, I grew up knowing and working hockey camp in St. Louis. He ended up coaching in the American League in Peoria, and we knew him. And he worked with Jamal Mayers in Chicago at the Blackhawks TV, and I played with Jamal. And there were just so many different people, and it was really Brent Brecky, who the head coach of St. Lawrence, was there the weekend before, and Brent and I played at Western Michigan together for 4 years. So there was a lot of ties between the week before with St. Lawrence coming in, with Western Michigan history, the daughters playing. So there was just a lot going on, and we had a good conversation, a pre-conversation on Wednesday, and they did a good job promoting the Colonials, and I guess the Schooley Sisters Bowl #1 in Delaware. The next one will be in Moon Township, or I guess on Neville Island, and when we play Canisius at the end of January.
Well, listen, Derek, thanks a lot. Appreciate the time. Glad you're able to join us, and best of luck on Halloween against Niagara. Again, folks can come out for that. Can watch it on Flow Hockey if you're unable to be there with Mike and I on the call. Niagara,
Tim, we're
Robert
not
Morris.
dressing up, are we?
What's that?
We're not dressing up, are we?
No, and I don't know if Derek is having his guys dress up or not, but what are you getting your trash taken out there? All sorts of custom service here.
Yep, that's right.
You call housekeeping during the show.
Can't make this up.
Derek, all right, appreciate it. Best of luck at Halloween, okay?
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, make sure you check us out. Flow Hockey will be on the call for you 7 o'clock against Niagara.